Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samiksha and in this video I am going to share my personal experience of taking the TELC B1 German language exam here in Germany. So I have the certificate right in front of me, and because the exam was recently taken and I recently got my results, so my experience is quite recent. I will tell you how I prepared, what happened on the day of the exam, and the challenges that I faced, especially in the speaking section. I think speaking is the part where most people are scared, right? In generally, even in daily life, speaking is a section where we often have that nervousness, and so therefore I will discuss with you how my experience was. If you're planning to take the TELC B1 exam or any other German language exam, then this will give you a clear idea of what you can expect. So let's first start with how a bit about my level in general, my German language level, and how I prepared. So I would say I am somewhere already between B1 and B2 level. So I started my journey of learning the language back in 2019. Where I reached a level of A2, then I repeated A2, and so I've learned in breaks, but I don't have a full B2 level, I would say, because I don't have a B2 level vocabulary yet, but I can still converse in German confidently. I understand, read, and write well. So B1, I'm quite confident with B1 already, especially because I use German in an office setting. So in my workplace, I write a lot of emails in German. I have to speak it once in a while in a few meetings. So I use it in my daily life, right? So I'm already therefore between the level of B1, B2. However, I had lost the touch with the exam style preparation, and my grammar and vocabulary needed some refreshing. So I did a B1.2 refresher course. I followed it up with a Vorbereitungscourse, which is a preparation course for the TELC exam. So as to understand the pattern better and how I could strategically prepare for the exam. Okay, so in total my preparation time was 3 months, and I did the Vorbereitungs. I did 1 month of the refresher course, 1 month I did a Vorbereitungscourse, course, and 1 month of self-study. Now for self-study, I focused on practicing a lot of recent TELC exam papers. So besides the preparation course that was going on, I was also doing a lot of practice of the recent TELC exam papers. For the reading comprehension especially, I was doing all kind of exercises I could find on the internet regularly. And then for the letter writing, I was practicing especially informal letters. For formal letters, I was already a bit comfortable because of my workplace experience, but for informal, and I also heard that most of the recent TELC papers have got informal letter writing questions. So I focused on informal letter writing. For listening practice, I mostly used YouTube. So there are a lot of free TELC style listening exercises that you can find on YouTube. So I dedicated at least 1 hour every day for one of these sections. So writing something, or doing a writing exercise or a listening exercise, and sometimes I did reading depending on my mood, but I made sure that 1 month every day I should work on one or the other exercise, right? For speaking, I didn't do too much independent practice. So I did a little bit of practice with ChatGPT, but most of my speaking practice came from role plays and group discussions that we had during our preparation course. Yeah, and the rest, there were a certain set of phrases that I noted down, that I could use during the speaking exam, and also for the letter writing, I learned a few phrases that I could use for writing the letter. But yeah, so this was the kind of preparation I did. I made sure that I was regular, so I didn't pay a lot of focus on grammar, etc. But I noted down that you should use for letter writing like das, when. I will write a set of verbs that you could also use and practice to make sure that you use it in your speaking and writing. Okay, coming to the exam day. So the written exam for me began in the morning at 9:15 a.m. So initially there was a passport check, or whatever identity documents, and then you are asked to check in. at 9 I checked into the exam center, and at 9:15 my exam started. So the written part lasts for 2.5 hours. The reading part is for 90 minutes. It started at 9:15 and went on till 10:45. Then was the listening part. So the listening part is for 30 minutes and the writing part is 30 minutes again. Now for this part, right, for the writing part, so for the reading comprehension it was okay for me. There were 2 reading comprehension questions, and then there was one where you match the advertisement to the right title. This was completely good for me. There's also one where you fill in the blanks with the MCQs that you get in a certain paragraph. This is okay. The listening part I think is tricky because you listen for 2 parts of the question. For 2 questions you listen the part only once, and this is a bit tricky because if you miss something then you don't find it the answer again, right? The written part, again, there was an informal letter, so I had learned some phrases, I was able to use it, and it was also okay for me. After the part ended, I was quite happy with my written part actually. There was some time for lunch, and then my speaking part was after 2 hours. So I waited, and then it was, I think, at about 1:30 or 2 or something. So I took a lunch break. This is what I had for lunch, by the way. I had a bagel and also an orange juice, right, cafe that was next to the exam center. It was very good. Anyways, coming back to the speaking part. So speaking part, I went to the exam, and they send you to a room where you can prepare. So the preparation time is for 20 minutes. They gave me a sheet. So they gave me a sheet with the questions for the speaking part, and then they also gave me a blank paper where I could make some notes. And you can take this blank paper with your notes into the speaking where you are doing your speaking test. So the speaking part has 3 parts again. The title one is where you introduce yourself to your partner. You ask them questions, they ask you questions, and you do like a dialogue. Okay, this went completely fine for me. You get 5 minutes to do this introduction section, and it was quite nice. Then the second part was where my partner and I so we asked each other about our names, what we do, hobbies, etc. Whatever was mentioned in the question, that we must ask each other what we do for work, etc. So it was smooth, it was friendly. TELC, which is discussion on a certain topic. So you get a short text already, okay? So for me, it was that should parents agree that children should have pets or not? And for me it was, I have to speak for the situation that yes, children should have pets. Now I should also give supporting points on why they should. So my position was yes, and I had to explain this why I generally chose that, yeah, okay, children should have pets because they learn empathy and so on. So I kind of elaborated. I had written some points down during my preparation time, but during the exam time you don't get that much time, so you can just glance through, and I did that. I just noted the points that I'm going to say, I summarized it, and then I spoke about it, and my partner also spoke about his idea and so on. So I think the TELC was okay. I was not so happy with it because I think speaking about a third person perspective, somebody else, what children should do, I think it gets a bit tricky. I knew that this is something which I am not that good at, but anyways, 5 minutes is too less. Your partner has to speak, you have to speak, and I think I didn't get enough time to speak my points. I felt like the time was so fast, it went by so fast, I couldn't say everything I wanted, but okay. TELC 3 is where you plan something together. So here we had to plan a school trip to a lake, like a picnic to a lake, and this we did quite well. I think it went quite well because we discussed quite a lot of things, activities, timings, arrangements, etc. And this part was quite well. Of course, one is nervous, but the examiners are aware of this, and I tried to be as confident as I could. There were times when I couldn't recollect a certain word, but it was still okay. But in comparison to the written part, I still felt like the time pressure in the speaking section is the hardest part. You really, like 5 minutes per tile along with a partner, so 15 minutes in total is like, it goes by so fast. You want to speak more, but you also have to make sure that your partner has enough speaking time. It's not a monologue, it's like teamwork, right? You have to also let the person speak, and they also check if you understand what he is speaking and are able to respond. So it's not like, he speaks his part and I speak my part and it's all okay. It's not like that. The partner speaks and you should be able to understand what he is speaking and also be able to respond to that. So I think that's also checked. For me, it was quite nice, but I still felt like there were a few things that I wanted to talk, especially in TELC Y, and I couldn't. Yeah, so after the speaking part, this is my review. So I came out of the exam hall and I was like, I'm not so satisfied. Maybe I let myself, this is a bit of snapshot of what I felt like. So I just gave my TELC B1s. ठीक था, मतलब it was not like, it was good. So the writing part was, the written part of the exam was easy. The talking was also easy, speaking wala, but for some reason I felt like I could have done better, or also, I don't know, I was also a bit nervous, I guess. But I think overall it was really nice. Hearing was a bit tricky, बहुत straightforward नहीं था. Reading comprehension बहुत easy था, so everything about writing was quite easy. Letter was also easy. Let's see कैसे marks आते हैं. I really felt rushed in the speaking part and wished I had expressed myself more, okay? And my partner actually also felt the same way after we left the exam center. But I think the outcome depends also partly on the examiners. Some are more lenient, some more stricter, but in the end, they do assess you, your overall communication, how confident you are you able to communicate your points or not? I don't think your grammar at that point is checked so much. They check if you've understood the questions and if you're able to articulate your thoughts correctly. I think that is quite important, and not just how many points you are listing, but are you able to tell your thoughts clearly. Now, so when I was quite unhappy with my speaking, honestly, I wanted to do better here. But so when the results came, I found that I had passed with good. So actually, you have there is Seher good, which is very good. Then there is gut, which is good. There is satisfactory, which is befriedigend, and then there is ausreichend, which is passed. I will put the breakup of marks so you know that which level is what. But I think if you get about 180 marks out of 300, then you pass. But you have to pass both sections. So if you want to know in detail the exam pattern, then I had made a video which you can watch, which will give you more idea in detail about the exam pattern. My advice for if you are going to appear for the exam now would be that you should practice speaking without under the time limit. This will make you more comfortable on the exam days, and especially the introduction part. Try to remember how you're going to talk about yourself when asked a certain question, and also how you will frame the questions. How will you ask the other person what they do for work, right? For example. Don't neglect listening parts. YouTube and past test papers can be used as great resources for practice. Or you can bring water, but there should not be any label on the water bottle. You can bring snacks. You cannot have watches. So digital, absolutely not allowed. You can have the normal watches, but there is usually a clock in the exam room. Important connectors and the grammar that you should have a look at before you give the exam. And if you're preparing for yours, I hope this gave you some realistic idea of what the day is like and where you might face challenges. If you have any questions for me, then you can always put them down in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them. I wish you all the very best for your exam. Good luck, and remember that you can do it. Practice, practice, practice is the key to success. If you like this video and found it informative, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye and take care.